UCLA football loses a key contributor for the Sun Bowl. The Chargers are going to get much healthier from Monday Night Football. And what do you think of USC basketball so far? Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports scene in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. Merry Christmas. It's also Sunday. Take a moment and respect and recognize the God that has provided you and given you the ability to make a difference in this world for this year. We'll get to LA sports in just a moment. If you like the content that we put out about LA sports, quickly click the like button. If you click the subscribe button, there's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yes, comments. Because like I said yesterday, by playing God stranded, I'm stranded. I created this channel to keep in touch with people. By all means, comment. Before we look at the news and notes, looking at the scoreboard, there were no games involving LA teams yesterday, but there are 2 today, and you damn straight I'm going to be watching. The Lakers are going to be playing the Dallas Mavericks at 12:30. Now, for all the troubles the Lakers have had, Dallas isn't exactly setting the world on fire either. They're 17-16. Also, at SoFi Stadium today, Denver is going to be playing at the Rams at 1:30. If you think the Rams year has sucked, and yes it has, because they didn't run it back, imagine trading for Matthew Stafford and that first year going 4-10. Because that's exactly what happened with the Broncos after the Russell Wilson trade. What do you say we talk a little bit of news right now? Kazmeir Allen, UCLA wide receiver, has declared for the NFL draft. He had a year of eligibility left. This matters. We had mentioned about Dorian Thompson-Robinson. We had mentioned about Zach Charbonnet, about how they haven't committed to the Sun Bowl because their eligibility is up after the bowl game. But they're still attending practices with UCLA, which leads credence to the idea that they've just been pulling our leg all along that they will play. Allen hasn't been practicing with the Bruins. That was a big hint. So for next year, we're talking about UCLA having to replace every skill player except maybe tight end. We don't know about tight end yet. You're talking about replacing a quarterback in Thompson-Robinson. Charbonnet, the Pac-12's leading rusher. Both top wide receivers, including Jake Bobo. Now, we've always spoke highly of Bobo here, but keep in mind, Allen made the preseason Paul Hornung Award, which is he was on that list for a reason. For those of you who don't know what the Paul Hornung Award is, it's basically given to the country's most versatile college football player. Whew, and he put in the work, not just at wide receiver, but at running back and at kick returner. Now, to be honest, Jack Coletto of Oregon State won the award, and he won it for a reason. That dude played linebacker, fullback, special teams, and quarterback. He literally was on all sides of the game. So unless Allen decides to jump in for Bill Govern as the defensive coordinator, you got to admit the guy over at Oregon State earned the award. But UCLA might be down at least a receiver for the Sun Bowl. And again, we haven't exactly heard officially from Thompson-Robinson or Charbonnet yet. Derwin James has been cleared to play on Monday Night Football for the Chargers against Indianapolis. By the way, Sebastian Joseph Day also eligible to return. And the cornerback, whose name I'm forgetting, Bryce Callahan. So you are getting potentially 2 starters and a very key backup who also gets a lot of playing time against the Colts. And you did want Derwin James. Now, don't get me wrong. James has missed the last couple of weeks. And from, I don't know, a fluke of God or whatever, the Chargers defense was just lights out for the last couple of games. But don't get it twisted. James is a tackling machine. He has 106 already this year. And that's even with missing 2 games. So, yeah, the Chargers are going to get themselves an upgrade for Monday. Can I ask you something? I don't know how much college basketball you watch. I watch some. And we know UCLA is tearing it up. But what about the Trojans? They're 10-3. That's not bad. I'm not saying they're going to be national title contenders like they were a couple of years ago, but that's not bad. Especially when you consider that they had their go-to player, a big man, having a heart attack over the summer. And we haven't seen him on a court since. We've only heard about him bicycling around the campus a little bit. There's a belief without Vince Owuchukwu. The Trojans, though, have only a little bit of a margin for error to get into the NCAA tournament because the Pac-12 is so strong. Do you agree? You tell me. I've seen a little bit of UCLA basketball. They don't funnel things into a center like they did when they had the Mobley brothers playing. But they don't have any dominant center this time. They thought they would have had one with the Owuchukwu, I apologize. Is the Trojans' run of reaching the NCAA tournament in jeopardy, even with a record of 10-3? So we focus on Rams players who have a future because we already know that the Rams have been eliminated from going to the postseason. There is a rookie special teams player formerly from UCLA, Quentin Lake, who for the first time this year actually got in play outside of special teams on Monday Night Football last week. They threw in Lake into a position that he hadn't played before. It was an emergency situation. Why? Because defensive coordinator Raheem Morris saw how many notes that Lake was taking down in his playbook during film study, during practice, etc. So he had a sinking feeling that the guy actually knew how to play, knew the defense from a holistic perspective. We may as well just throw him in there when we were down a guy. So at least they're noticing the rookies out there. And that's another reason to watch today's game. You remember how I had a dry erase board back when I was at my house to discuss how idiot sports writers linked every free agent baseball player with the Dodgers? Like the Dodgers were actually going to go out and get all 27 players. And then, of course, the national press, because they never met a rumor they couldn't bloviate over, they were wrong on 26 of them. The Dodgers only went out and got one. Well, keep that in mind. Because in the last week alone, bloggers and professional sports writers have linked the Lakers to 20 players in a trade. That's just over the last week alone, and the trade deadline is still a few months away. 20. So I'm not going to sit there and tell you that everything that comes flying out of my cake hole is factually accurate. I've been known to make a mistake too here and there. But at least we exercise common sense over here. There is no bleeping way that the Lakers are pursuing 20 bleeping basketball players. Stop it. 20. The LA Times has recognized Clippers forward Nicholas Batum for playing more than 1,000 NBA games. And they should recognize more than that because he's the only Clipper who has played in every game this year. No matter how many injuries go ravaging through that roster, that guy just shows up every single day. Now, he had a terrific story about why he is so reliable. You literally know what you're going to get when you put Nicholas Batum on the court every single time. And it may not be on the level of a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George, but that is valuable too, knowing exactly what you're going to get. So here's what he said about being a rookie. He was up in Portland, and then Trailblazers assistant Monty Williams tells him, quote, "You think you're hungry. You want it bad. But don't worry. There's another Nick Batum coming next year. And then the next year. Because there's a draft every year. Getting drafted is tough. Playing in the NBA is hard. Staying in the NBA is really hard." And Nicholas Batum said, "I'll never forget that." There's an obvious lesson in that story, guys. There's an obvious lesson, especially if you're the type of person that puts down New Year's resolutions. The Kings have sent defenseman Jordan Spence down to their AHL affiliate in Ontario. How would you like that for a Christmas present? A one-way ticket to the Inland Empire. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays to one and all. Totally love it. Man, if Jordan Spence doesn't celebrate Festivus, I don't know what to say. By the way, Spence, he did play 3 games since his call up. He didn't score, but that's not the role of a defenseman anyway. The Dodgers have signed outfielder Steven Dugar to a minor league deal. He spent much of his career in the Giants organization. He was also part of the Angels organization last year. Not exactly saying this is going to be much of a needle mover. I don't even know if it's going to qualify much as a reclamation project. He's going straight to the minors. But we'll see what happens with him. By the way, side note, personal note, Alaska's a trip. I walked out here yesterday to go get some breakfast, feeling sorry for myself. Ran into a moose. I got within 10 yards of a moose before I realized it's a pretty good idea to turn around and walk away. So yeah, keep in mind, if you're trying to be a highfalutin world traveler like me, there's going to be risks. I could have gotten trampled by a moose. Merry Christmas to me. But let me know what you think in the comments thread, man. There's a surprising amount of information going around on Christmas Day. Let me know what you think about UCLA football. Let me know what you think about USC basketball. Interested in hearing all of that stuff. And again, Merry Christmas to you. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports here every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.